All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live session, taking a look at the LinkedIn creator mode. We've seen a lot of changes over the last few years with regards to social media, but probably one of the biggest is the fact that it's moving more to the media side of things as opposed to the social side, because we've got so much capabilities to use our messaging tools and text to communicate and to have that bi-directional dialogue. A lot of what's happening on social media has gone more to a media standpoint. And we see that with those platforms that are growing with regards to video and TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, and the growth that we're seeing in those platforms. Now, LinkedIn is the most trusted of all the social media platforms and key for so many types of work that we do, particularly in the business to business environment. And there's been so much growth in video and so many new tools that are coming into play. We wanted to introduce you to some of those tools, particularly those that are around creator mode on LinkedIn during this short little session. Now, as always with our live stream sessions, if you have any questions with regards to anything that we're talking about or anything, please just type them into the comment section. I'll be monitoring the comment section, and if I see questions in there, we can either answer them off channel or we can address them during the live broadcast. So let's get started taking a look at LinkedIn's creator mode and where we need to sort of go and what are the things we have to consider with regards to this. So for those of you that I may not have had the ability to interact with before, my name is Lyle Wetch. I am an associate professor of marketing at Memorial University, as well as the director and facilitator of the Digital Academy, what was previously the Digital and Social Media program. Now, when we talk about LinkedIn Creator Mode is a little bit different than a new feature or a new element that is coming into play. Creator mode is actually allowing you to make a change to your LinkedIn profile and identify yourself as a creator, which changes a lot of features and enables you to do a lot of really cool, amazing things. Now, as we're going to talk about later in the session, there is no panic if you activate your creator mode and you're like, this is great, I'm going to enjoy this. And then you realize that the features of creator mode are not necessarily what you expected. You can always turn creator mode off and go back to the way your profile really is. So it's not like you're making a lifelong commitment to creator mode on your LinkedIn profile. So what we want to do is to just sort of address some of the benefits, some of the elements of creator mode, and have a little bit of a conversation or a discussion about why and when you might consider making the shift for your profile into creator mode or simply leaving your LinkedIn profile as it is. So let's take a look at a few of these things. One of the first things is when we talk about creator mode, it is an option that is available on your profile. So there are some elements that are in creator mode that you've had the ability to apply for individually, such as LinkedIn Live or LinkedIn newsletters that you could connect with from your profile or from a page. But the broader capabilities of creator mode in itself are only available for a profile. There is no creator mode for a page. So this is really about focusing on the individual and expanding your reach and capabilities, which makes sense because LinkedIn is all about the personal networks. That's really where the power of LinkedIn comes into play, is making these networks, making these connections that we've had in real life expand into connections that we've got happening in the virtual. Now, if you choose to engage creator mode on your profile, one of the first things that happens is the automated connect button on your profile changes to a follow button. Now, the connect option is still there, but it's in the more section. So what it's really doing is it's shifting the default to a follow capacity as opposed to connection. And this is not necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of us get tons of connection requests coming in daily from people all over the globe that we have never met before. We have no previous relationship. They don't put anything in their connection request to give us any clue or idea as to why they want to connect and become a little bit more embedded in the network. They just use the standard, "Hi, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn." And you're like, I have no clue who you are. And so the vast majority of LinkedIn users are not going to facilitate those connections. Those connections are a deeper situation. Now, in normal circumstances, those would simply be lost. The difference between a connection and a follower is that followers are going to receive your posts, they're going to get your articles, they're going to see the information that you've shared in their feed. Now, you will still have connections. So we're not going to lose all of those deep, rich connections that you've got. We just end up with an extra option. And that's the option for people to follow our content without us needing to verify that we're more embedded with them or more connected with them as they go. If people choose to try to connect with you on LinkedIn while they're waiting for that connection, or if you just decide, no, I have no clue who you are, I really don't want to connect with you on LinkedIn, they still stay as a follower. So this is where if you reject that connection or while they're waiting for your approval, they're still able to consume and see your content that's there. So there is a bit of a relationship. So to sort of sum this up, when you follow someone as an individual on LinkedIn, it's one direction. You are seeing their content, you are seeing the stuff that they're putting out, but they are not seeing yours. So following is a one direction transfer of information. When you're connected to somebody, that's bi-directional. That gives you the ability to see the other person's information, they can see your information, and it is a much deeper, more enhanced relationship when it comes in. So if you've got a choice of connecting or following, what do we do? So it's important to understand what role and when these different situations would come into play. Optimally, you should connect with someone when you both know each other, where you've got a past experience, you've got past relationship, and you want to make that a little bit deeper through LinkedIn. You would follow someone when you want to stay in the awareness and the knowledge of the stuff that they're putting out. What follow almost does is it almost makes every individual who has great content that they want to share through their profile a micro influencer, because this is what we do on LinkedIn with people who are the main influencers, is we follow them. We see their stuff, but if you follow Richard Branson, he's not seeing stuff that you're posting in your feed. He's kind of a busy person. So this gives you as an individual a greater reach and almost turning you into a micro influencer if you've got people that want to stay in the know of what's going on. Now, there is a third option that we need to think about here, and that is the send a message option. So this is where you want to try to engage and connect with somebody that is outside of your network. Then you would send them a message either through the ability to connect, which you can actually connect to about 80% of the people on LinkedIn for free by sending messages in those standpoints, or using an in-mail if people have their accounts more closed off. So it's not that following is replacing connection, but what it does is it provides a venue for people to get your content, share and expand the reach of your content without you needing to create that deeper connection with them. So it's really pretty awesome. Now, when you engage creator mode, you're going to have certain topics. You can actually list 5 topics that your main commentary, your main discussion, the themes, if you will, are going to be identified in your profile introduction through different hashtags. Now, these hashtags are also going to be key search results. So if you are a content creator and you're sharing live stream content or recorded video content on a particular topic, people can find that content through regular search, and then they can choose to follow you. Your featured and activity sections that are already part of your existing LinkedIn profile will be moved up to the start of your profile because it's recognizing that it is the content that is important. You know, all of the things about your education and your work experience, as important as they are not the primary thing that we want to have focusing at the top of the screen. Now, visible in your activity section, you will no longer have likes, comments, and other aspects, but they are still going to be available when you take a look at other activities. And here's a big one: driving more traffic to where you want to be. You will have the ability to add an additional link directly in that introduction section of your profile to a website or an event that you've got coming up. And this can be edited and changed. So you can sort of work your way through this as you go. Now, a couple of the big things that come into play when we look at creator mode is, as long as you've got 150 followers and you've been creating content or putting content out there, LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn Newsletter are going to be part of what you have access to in your Creator Hub. And so these are 2 amazing ways for you to expand your reach, your broadcast, to share your information, to make sure that people are getting the information that's relevant. Now, this doesn't negate the need or the importance of using LinkedIn Live on your page as well, and putting out live information and live broadcast from your page, but it is an added piece that can really be a strong connector with you as an individual. Now, one other part where this really comes into play is particularly when you're dealing with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are really hard to separate out from the company that they've started. So when you're a founder, when you've got a startup, you've got the presence of your brand, but as the entrepreneur involved in starting up that brand, you're going to have a huge piece as well. And so thinking about what is the messaging you're putting out as an individual versus the messaging that's coming out of your company as a brand are going to be really key. Now, it's all about the data. We can gain access through much more enhanced analytics once we've enabled that creator mode. So what it does is it provides us with aggregate analytics. So we are still covered under all the privacy aspects of everything contained in your content portfolio. And you can set the date range anywhere from the past week to the past 365 days. And if you want to parse through these analytics data in more detail, you can export it as an XLS file. Obviously, they're really focused on the Excel versions of this because Microsoft owns LinkedIn, if you forgot about that acquisition. So this is where any of the content that you're putting out there, your short form posts, your images, your videos, your events, your polls, your articles, all of this information is going to be contained within your Creator Analytics in aggregate format. So the big advantage of this is it's going to tell you how is your content performed. So breaking it down into your impressions and your engagements, it considers an impression to be anything that was displayed on screen for at least 3 seconds. And then you're going to be able to take a look at your engagement demographics. Who was watching it? Who was engaging with the content? And when we think about the types of data that is relevant within LinkedIn, the type of industry, the job description, where they're located, those are key pieces that are far more relevant than a lot of what you may be able to get from a Facebook live stream, as an example, when we're talking about a business perspective. Now, there's a change that is happening this month. Starting this month, your impression counts will also include the number of times that your content appeared in search results. So if you had a piece of content that you put out there, a video, a live stream, and it showed up in a search result, that's going to count as an impression. So, we're expecting to see a slight rise in impression numbers in your content analytics, or your creator analytics rather, coming up this month when this happens. But it really helps to demonstrate and recognize the amplification that the content that a creator puts out is getting more reach than just reaching those individual connections that you have. So it really is about getting your messaging and getting your content out beyond your close immediate network. So it's about reaching more, getting more shares on your content, and perhaps driving those connections, or more importantly, if you're a business, driving your sales as you go. So if some of these aspects, the LinkedIn Live, the newsletter, the reach, the analytics, seem like they might be appealing for you, how do you go about getting started in this? Well, if you go up to your LinkedIn profile, remember this is a profile, not a page tool. You go up to where you have your little icon image in the top with the me and the down arrow, and you simply click on the View Profile option. Once you've done that, then there's going to be a section that's going to appear called Resources. In that Resources section, you will probably see the Creator Mode with a off icon next to it. If you just click on the words Creator Mode, even though they're not underlined, they are an actual hyperlink. Once you move your mouse over to Creator Mode, you will then gain access to get a little bit more information about Creator Mode. It gives you a little profile that says, here's where you've got the link in your bio, the hashtags explaining what you talk about, your featured and your activity tabs have been moved up. And when you click next, it'll go through and turn on your Creator Mode. Now, once you've turned on Creator Mode, it will then recommend that you follow the LinkedIn creators page, because they're putting out great content about how to sort of build on what you're doing from that perspective. Once you've done this, when you go into your resource section, your Creator Mode will show turned on. And when you click on that Creator Mode link, it will then take you and give you the options to see, do you have what's necessary to be doing a LinkedIn Live broadcast yet? Do you have access to LinkedIn newsletters? So thinking about what tools that are available as you work your way along. Now, as we mentioned, you are not locked in if you want to turn off your creator mode. So it is a tool that you can use to activate, to see what you can do with it, to create good content. The main thing to remember is there really is no downside to creator mode other than the fact that the connect button is not the most prominent button on your profile. The follow button is the most prominent option that's on your profile. And, beyond that, you get all of the same capabilities and features that you currently have with your profile, with your ability to connect and engage, and all of that stays the same. The only difference is the content that you create has the ability to reach a broader audience and has the ability to drive more of your goals and objectives for why you're creating that content on LinkedIn in the first place. And here's a big one that was announced this week, and that is the fact that live audio, which has been in beta testing on LinkedIn, has just launched and will be a third feature or a third option that is available in creator mode. So sort of like Facebook, where with Facebook, because the focus is not about Facebook pages and it is about Facebook groups, and as a brand, you should be thinking about the groups that you're creating, and that should be your priority for engaging. Your page is for recruiting, your groups are for engaging, and that's why live audio on Facebook is not available as a feature to a page, but only available to a feature within the page's groups. So live audio on LinkedIn is going to be part of the creator mode. So if you turn creator mode on, you're going to have access to live video, live audio, and LinkedIn newsletters are going to be your three big main pieces of content that you're going to have access to within your profile. Now, when we think about it, creator mode is not necessarily brand new. It was introduced to a limited audience almost a year ago. And since that time, creator mode has grown to about 10 million members on LinkedIn. And part of this is because of the fact that video is so important and so critical on LinkedIn, with 47% of brands saying that they have to have a priority in 2022 of doing more video on LinkedIn because it drives 3 times the engagement. It's 5 times more likely to start a conversation than a text-based post or text-based message. And so thinking about where your video strategy comes into play, how you're working with it on LinkedIn, both from your page perspective and from you as an individual through your profile, is going to be key and important. So hopefully with this brief introduction, we've given you some idea about what LinkedIn's creator mode is, removed some of the, should I do it? Should I not? What's the downside? If I activate this, am I going to lose all my connections and just turn into having a bunch of followers? Where does it come into play? The question about whether you should use it really has to go back to your strategic and tactical plans and thinking about who are your audiences, what are your goals and objectives, and what are the tools that might help you enable those goals and objectives. This is just an amazing new tool set that you have access to on LinkedIn that continues to grow, and more features are being incorporated and added in that will help you look more and more to LinkedIn as a channel of choice that's going to help you achieve one of those specific goals as we take a look. So what I'd like to do now, as always, is just to open the floor up. If anybody has any specific questions about LinkedIn creator mode, the features or tools that you can enable, how you go through. One thing I do want to mention is once you make that transition from, regular profile to moving into creator mode, all of the people that have connected with you and all of your future connections automatically become followers. So what you will see on your profile are two different numbers. You're going to see your follower count and you'll also see your connections. So for those of you that have a number of connections, you're probably used to seeing the 500 plus connections. We see a much more specific number in our profile with regards to the number of followers. All you have to do is enable that creator mode. So think about what you can do to be putting more content out on your LinkedIn profile, and think about the audiences that you want to reach, the topics that you want to have a conversation of. And I would encourage all of you that if there's an appropriate audience and appropriate content, to make the shift and transition and to give creator mode a try. So again, if you have any questions, simply type them into the comment section for the video, and we'll be able to take a look at them. If not, thank you all very much for joining us today for this brief little live stream, taking a look at what is LinkedIn creator mode and why might we want to sort of do the transition and take a look at it. So thanks very much, everybody. Have yourself a great week, and hopefully this Monday start will get you the ability to sort of start thinking about your LinkedIn content a little bit more as we progress along. So we'll just leave the floor open for questions or comments for about a minute or so. Other than that, thanks very much, everyone.